Hello, everybody from Puerto Rico. My name is Antonio Delgado, and I'm very excited to stay with all of you in the eLearning Korea 2014 with the Congress eLearning for the Designing My Life. I'm very excited to stay with all of you, and I hope that you enjoy this conference. Let's take a look of the map. Okay, and you are here in South Korea. Okay, and I am in the Caribbean. Let's mark a little pixel. This is Puerto Rico, and our first language is Spanish. The second language is English. But I promise that I can do my best to share with all of you my presentation. This is a bigger map of Puerto Rico. I'm living in this square. This is the municipality of Manatí. But I am transmitting with Livia Arevalos here in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. And if we move to the Arecibo municipality, here is the University of Puerto Rico in Arecibo, where I work in our projects of e-learning and instructional design. This map presents where we are in the University of Puerto Rico in Arecibo. This is our college, and this is the administrative building of the University of Puerto Rico in Arecibo. This area work our provost and our deans. This is the administrative building and all the administrative personnel of the University of Puerto Rico in Arecibo. Well, in UPR in Arecibo, we are working with the learning management system Moodle. This is an open source. With Moodle, we can manage the e-learning courses with the students and professors. We don't have a lot of funds to pay for annual learning management system licenses like a Blackboard. This is why we select Moodle as our best learning management system platform. What is the use that we are doing with Moodle? This is the presential course support. We are using to content repository to save our contents in the platform, and the student has to access it on the internet, on the web, and we are using the platform for online test administration and for blended learning. This year we're starting, this academic year we're starting with a eLearning pilot project where I'll be participating as an instructional designer. We will work with the first 5 professors this semester, and then next semester we will be working with a second group of 5 professors, and we hope to impact 10 professors this academic year 2014-2015. For me, this project of e-learning right now, this is a form of a static, a little dumb, restrictive, unquestionable, excessive control, authoritarian, and bureaucratic form of e-learning. I think that we have to change this paradigm of e-learning to the traditional courses in the new platform to promote the learning in our students. It's like convert the physical classroom into a digital class. That is an activity of the 20th century, 20,000th century. Okay, and we have to move for a new abilities, new forms of instructional design, and educational technology. Let's take a look at this graphic. If you see the left picture, this is the educational technologies of the 1980s, 1990s, working with analogic resources. These resources are very cost effective, very expensive to design the different learning resource or instructional resource for learning, creating transmission of radio, creating videos, creating CDs of music, CDs of multimedia. And if we change that content, we have to reproduce different and a lot quantities of these resources for each student. If you look at the right picture, this is the instructional designer. The instructional designer consume models like Dick and Carey, Sit and Glass, Army, ADDIE, Assure, eLearning instructional design models. And I think as instructional designer we have to change this paradigm and move on to the new paradigms. And I think that educational technologies must move working with digital devices, different software, open sources, web tools, freemium. That's the combination of free and the premium. And the instructional designer need to improve their abilities, their knowledge on how to work with the instruction. We have to move from instruction to learning. So the instructional designer of the 21st century must be a prosumer, a combination of consumer and producer. Must be an edu-scientific, a theorizer, and a social practitioner. This is the new abilities or competencies of the instructional designer of the 21st century. That's me. This is my working in my office, and I think I don't want to stay sitting all day long in my office waiting for the professors trying to fix in their technical needs. I think I need move more across the project with the students, with professor and administrative or in different activities of the university. I think my dream is to work with, promote the student participation. Student in this picture is working with WISAQ as a platform for giving virtual conferences. They learn to create the new own learning resources to share with the class. The students and the professor are distributed in the university, connected with in the web, and they learn to use the data to convert it in information and useful information. Then they design knowledge with a different software or another platform or a new mobile application or web service. The instructional designer and the educational technologies must working in the design of e-learning projects. For example, this is a picture of last week. We are coordinating the Expo Tutoring 2014, where the student tutors will demonstrate how to use the mobile application of web tools, web services, to design learning resources for tutored students. This activity will be in October 10, 2014 at the Theater of the University of Puerto Rico in Arecibo. If you see the picture, each student will work with a different mobile device, with a different mobile application or web tool to promote the learning in the students. This is a sharing environment of knowledge across the technology. We the instructional designer and educational technology, we must work as event organizers. This is the promo of the educative debate about disruptive education with Juan Domingo Farnos from Spain, that we talk about learning is work, and Juan Quintana from Puerto Rico will talk about learning is leisure. It will be I will be the host in this edu event with the iStudio within Google Hangout. I hope the Spain people and Latin American people to be connected with us in this remarkable activity talking about education. When we talk about the infrastructure, we need to talk to change. We are working now closely connected into techno-educational projects, holding interesting conversations and sharing what we learn. The closed infrastructure promotes isolation and instructional scarcity. We need new learning space hyper-connected with synaptic, social, and artificial knowledge. Now, I hope this is my dream to work in a new learning environment. We don't need computers located in lines with people learning isolated. We need to create new learning spaces where the people join to solve complex problems, to create new collective consumer products, predict emergent phenomena, and increase the possibilities of other. This new learning infrastructure help us to augment the capacity of knowledge. This is my personal learning network. You can see me with my people, this Edumorphosis logo, and you can see all the people that is following me in this personal network, and we can link with another friends, with another colleagues of education like Alfredo Calderon, like Gine Delgado of Educa PR. I connect with Bernabe Soto at University of Sacred Heart and Antonio Bantallato at the University of Sacred Heart in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and James Lin at the University of Turabo in Puerto Rico. This is my personal learning network. People around the world linked. We meet every day in sharing knowledge, sharing resources, sharing videos, web presentation, a lot of information, all of education, how to transform, how to make the disruptive education of the 21st century. Now, I would like to share with all of you. This is a project I'm working since a few months ago, and this is design your own learning resources. This is a proposal. It's an educational proposal designed by me for educators to design and produce autonomously their own learning resource without having to rely on the impositions of the educational system for which they are working. Rather, it consists of a series of new technological competencies that extend the traditional roles of educators. Now we talk about produce, create, develop, build, devise, make the imagination visible, explore, modify, refine, replace, share, disseminate, transform, and extend the learning possibilities. Dictate lectures every day of the academic term is an inadequate methodology. We need to manage. We do not need to manage standardized evidence, and conducting home-based activity for the classroom are no longer effective to detect multiple learning capabilities of our students. The objective of this model I'm sharing with you is to promote the teaching community disposing the obsolete mental models that are still practiced in the classroom. And I'm going to explain you the different stages of the model, design your own learning resources. Okay. In this graphic, we can identify the gaps. Okay? The different gaps. When we work in this stage, we are talking about how can we identify cognitive, attitudinal, aptitudinal, collective awareness, and generational gaps in the process of learning. With this information, we can move to the second stage, talking about design competencies. Competencies is information that we need to get how are the interests, the necessities, the talent or skills to produce emergent and evolutive goals. With this information, we can move to the third stage, that is developing learning ecologies. We are talking about personal learning environments, we're talking about personal learning network, social learning environments, personal development environments where we can create our own e-portfolios. And we can use tools like Ning to create, as we know as collaborative innovation, for create different network for educators. We also using different content curation and self-organizer communities. We working with open courses, open courseware, and the MOOCs. The MOOCs are using in different countries like United States, some countries of Europe, and some countries of Asia as a new form of education based in open, massive content. Very interesting how the MOOCs are moving in the educational settings. Then we are going to move to the fourth stage called design cultural products. Here we're working with platforms, with format, with typology of how can we communicate with others to learn. We're talking about technological information and communication. We talk about technology for knowledge. We are talking about for technology to participate and empower our students. This is the three important typologies of the e-learning. But we're talking about applications, how to use devices to create new spaces of learning. Then we are moving to the fifth stage. We are talking about apply constructed knowledge. It's very important because we are creating a multimodal, multisensorial, multi-contextual, multi-format, and multimedia resources of learning. Then we are moving to the important stage because we are working, we are reaching, we are making the investigation about the process, about the activities, about the organization, and how we work with the results to take the better options, to take the better decisions in the learning process with the student, and thinking about administrative or pedagogical or instructional forms to fix the problems, to fix the incorrect content, incorrect knowledge of the students. And we're talking about the move on to the last stage called metacognition. Without metacognition, we don't, or we can learn. We need metacognition to be submerged in a reflection, amplification, modification, and replace all the content to make a better process of learning. This is the 7 stages of the model called Design Your Learning Resources. This is I identified at least 7 technosocial practices on the web realized by educators. This is the model. You can access the blog edumorphosis.blogspot.com to read the interesting article about design your learning resources. For questions, for comment, contact me. Those are the different learning spaces where I share information with all of you. So thank you very much to share with me in this conference. I hope you enjoy all the activities of the Congress of eLearning in Seoul, Korea. So long. See you next time. Bye bye.